Hey, this is Erin Lindstrom, and you're listening to Thank You for You. This is a show about celebrating and acknowledging our humanness as well as our beingness, the easy and the hard, the gifts and the gifts we don't really like but choose to accept anyway. This is a show about and for people in pursuit of more peace, more joy, more money, more justice, and more of the awe that life has to give us. Thank you for being here, and thank you for you. Hey, welcome back to Thank You for You. It is another beautiful day inside of my heart. And it is actually beautiful outside where I am too, but who knows how it will be on the day this actually comes out. But wherever you are, I hope that you're having a beautiful time. I actually started saying beautiful versus good earlier in pandemic because I felt like, gosh, it was just too much to hey, how are you? Are you good? That was way too heavy. But beautiful, I feel like there's beauty in the pain. There's beauty in the good times and in the bad. So that's what I'm going with. Hot topic. Anyway, I am so excited about today's podcast episode and my guest today, who is Yasmine, who is just a brilliant A, human being, B, lawyer, C, woman in business. And I have loved getting to know her over the last couple of years, I think now. And so I'm super excited to share her with you and really hear more about her story. So I'll be learning right alongside you as we go through this. So before we hop into it, I will share a little bit more about Yasmine. So she is a Dallas-based brand protection lawyer and the founder of coachesandcompany.com, the go-to digital marketplace for online coaches and done-for-you service providers looking to get legally legit in business. Yasmine is a fan of spicy foods, audiobooks, palm trees, and oat milk lattes. Me too. And you can connect with her on Instagram at Yasmine Salem Hamdan and check out tons of resources she's created for online business owners over at coachesandcompany.com. But we will get to that in the next couple of minutes. So Yasmine, thank you so much for being with me today.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for that. I would say beautiful intro. And I'm here for the hot take. I'm here for all of that. Thank you so much for having me, Erin.
Yeah, my pleasure. So the first questions that I ask everyone is, and this is a big one, so feel free to receive it as you want and take us on whatever kind of journey you want to go on. But the question is, who are you and how did you get here?
Okay, so my name is Yasmine. I am a business and brand protection lawyer. I am the leader of an organization and a company called Coaches and Company. I am a mom. I'm a wife. I'm a daughter. I'm a lot of things, if we're being honest.
Seriously.
Yes, and I know you know the feeling. But how did I get here? Okay, so I started my law practice right out of law school, actually. So when I was in law school, I had interned at a couple of different law firms, and everywhere I went, it was a good experience, but I was kind of just I feel like I could do better with putting my own spin on things. It was just very impersonal, very transactional. There was no human touch to the practice of law and working with business owners. And from my perspective, I'm thinking, this is it's business, but it's a very personal matter when it is a business owner, right? Because it is their livelihood. It's their, your baby, if you will, right? You created this thing, you birthed this thing, you're nurturing this thing. It's very personal for business owners. And now, years later, I've come to experience that myself. But at the time, as a business lawyer working with clients, I realized that there were very unique needs of business owners in the digital landscape that were not being met. So online business owners were being underserved on the legal front. And I decided I wanted to be the pioneer. I wanted to be the one to take this on and solve these problems, create resources, and ultimately support women in business. For me, my passion for entrepreneurship and for supporting women in business really comes from, so I'm a Muslim woman. My background is of Palestinian heritage, and traditionally, and not even just in Muslim communities or in an Arab culture, across the world, women really have had limited access to resources, specifically financial resources. And so I saw that within my community as a Muslim woman as well, is that women traditionally did not have the full robust career or much less own a whole business, right? And ultimately did not have access to financial resources or were not able to create financial independence for themselves. And so that's really where the fire exists within me. And that's what really fuels me in continuing to advance our mission of supporting women in business, is really helping women and supporting women in achieving financial independence for themselves. So, that's, I was doing my thing, running my law firm, supporting my clients. And then I realized that there were still gaps in terms of the support that was needed and the support that was being provided to women in business, specifically online business. And long story short, coachesandcompany.com was born. And we created these ready-to-use, lawyer-created digital products. They are contract templates, and so they are instantly downloadable. You can plug and play. They come with the support you need in order to customize it to your business. And it's really a way to create that legal protection within your business without having to invest in a one-on-one legal professional such as a lawyer, because that can be very expensive depending on the season of business you're in. So, if you are a newer business, or if you're in a season of business where you're looking to, okay, I need to revamp the foundation, right? It's gotten us this far, but I recognize where I'm heading and where I want to lead this business. What has gotten us here is not going to get us there. So I need to revamp, our foundation, our legal stuff. But you're not able to spend $5,000 plus on a lawyer or a law firm. We've got everything you need.
You really do have everything.
So, yeah. And it's so great. It's been so well received. And, people are just I'm very excited about it, but I recognize that not everybody gets excited over legal stuff, but I've just been so pleased with how excited people are to have access to these resources, because this has just never been the case.
Right. And you make such a good point too, like just the idea of people being excited about legal resources. So I would actually love to talk about this for a second, because something I have found with my clients as they're kind of like building their businesses is that legal, and I would say like the tax financial stuff, like it feels heavy. Like it's not necessarily the fun, creative thing. It's the like, oh my God, how do I do this thing? And one of the things I really appreciate about you and your company and the vibe that kind of comes along with the templates is like, we got you. It's not that hard. Like this can be simple. Like, let's just look at it, versus the like, bum, 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 like high stress. Like, what is this? It's going to cost me everything. I haven't even made a set. Like it's a much different vibe than people expect.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You hit the nail on the head. I mean, it's, just like you said, it's not the sexiest, most fun, exciting thing. And it actually can be kind of scary and intimidating and just the unknown. And so it's one of those things that you really want to be proactive. You don't want to wait until you have to be reactive. And the reason why, well, I won't say the reason why. What I see a lot of the time happening is that people continue to put it off because there's no immediate consequence, right? There's no immediate consequence to using this makeshift contract that you kind of cut and paste together, or, just flying by the seat of your pants, just winging it when it comes to your legal stuff. There isn't always an immediate consequence, but, I always say this is, it's not a matter of if you're going to come up on a legal roadblock, it's a matter of when, and you're either going to be prepared because you took the time early on to put the right contracts in place and the right legal agreements in place and understand what that means for your business, or, you're going to be scrambling, trying to figure it out, trying to clean up a mess, do some damage control, which, in my experience has always been more expensive and more time consuming and a lot more heartache involved in that.
100%. It's interesting because as you talk about that, it's what I'm hearing is like avoidance happens a lot where like instead of the visual I got in my mind, which is how my mind works, is like a dirty blender. Like I just made a smoothie and you can either take that and put it in the sink and wait a week and oh my God, good luck getting it off, or you can wash it right away.
Yes, that's a great visual.
Yeah. And it's kind of that element of like just being prepared, like having your things together, knowing what it takes to take care of things. And I think there is a responsibility piece of entrepreneurship that a lot of times especially in the beginning part of business, we really use the like rebellious part of ourselves to get out there and do something different. And then it's like, oh God, I have to follow the rules too. And, and trying to like bridge those two worlds together, like it can be challenging to like figure out the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So question, have you, like when you were little, did you always want to be a lawyer? Was that something you were called to, or how did you end up there?
I actually did. I was one of those people. I don't know how I knew. I guess I just knew. But I also was, I don't like the word argumentative because I don't like to use the word hate either, but I strongly dislike arguing. I strongly dislike, conflict. And that's really why I like to live on the side of let's be preventative, let's be proactive, because I dislike the nature of conflict in an adversarial setting. But, when I was young, I was just always defending everybody. Like anytime anything happened and I was there, like on the playground, at home with my sisters, with family, at, friend's house, like if something happened and somebody was going to get in trouble, I'm like, whoa, wait a second. That's actually not what happened. Here, let me give you the rundown. And I'm like 8. And so I don't know what it was. But I think that's just life, right? We have a nature to us, maybe our environment does shape us to a certain degree as a child. I am the oldest of 6 sisters.
Wow.
So I always kind of was like the stand-in advocate for my sisters.
Yes.
Like if somebody needed something or, one of my, I changed diapers for the younger ones, because there was such an age gap. And so they were really young. And so if they needed something, I guess I was just the default advocate, especially if, my mom wasn't there. So,
yep. That's so funny. I have a younger brother, and my whole life growing up, my mom was like, you should be a lawyer, because every time he got in trouble, I would be there like, can you please explain the situation to me to like make sure it was fair? Which I'm sure was like, it's like half cute and half like, oh my God, go to your room. You'll get grounded too.
Yes. Mind your own business.
Yeah. But I think it's interesting, just that kind of call to like justice and fairness. And then like moving into growing a business, like to me, in many ways, as you were speaking to before, the fact that this is about like helping women achieve financial independence through entrepreneurship, like that is about equality. That is about like, no, we can too. And so I love like hearing the, just the ongoing theme of that. And like, it sounds like it's really who you are, not something you're doing,
Yeah, it's, I think it's a bit foolish to deny the reality that our experiences really do shape us, and what we witness as kids and as teenagers and young adults, that really shapes us. And something that I've seen time and time again, and really just, it makes me so sad. At the same time, it makes my blood boil. Is seeing women without options. When they're in a relationship is the most common situation I've seen. And I've seen it more after becoming a practicing attorney. Women in our community, have reached out to me when they are in this difficult position, and they're just like, I'm in an abusive relationship, regardless of whether it's physical or emotional. And I've never had a job, or I haven't had a job in like 10 years. I have 3 kids. My husband controls the finances. I don't know what I can do. And I don't feel like I can do anything. I don't feel like I have options. And I'm just like, wow, that is what makes my blood boil, but just makes me, I don't know another word other than sad. Like, I don't even know how to describe it, but that is really what drives me in my mind, I'm thinking, wow, in 2021 and beyond, with the access to technology and resources and information and education and all of the abundance that surrounds us, I feel like there's absolutely no reason why every single woman should not have access to a path to financial independence. Mm-hmm. And that's really what drives me.
Mm-hmm. I love that. That is so, so important for women who are kind of, I mean, really anywhere in the journey, right? And it can be men too. It's humans, right? Who are on this path of like, okay, I'm looking ahead. I want something different. I'm stepping into perhaps entrepreneurship as the pathway forward. And like this world, it's friendly. I feel like once you start walking around and talking to people, right? Because everyone's on like a similar-ish journey, and it can be very scary. And so coming into this kind of world and like, as you're wherever you are in the decision point of, you know, I'm starting a business or this is my business and I'm ready to up level like how I'm doing things. When it comes to kind of like the legal side of things, do you have any like, whether it's pointers around what to look for, like what to do first, or even like mistakes to avoid?
Yes, absolutely. I'm actually chock full of them. So,
perfect.
So the first thing I would say is, if you are in a position to have a one-time consultation with a lawyer, do it. It can cost anywhere from like, it'll probably be a couple $100 if we're being realistic. As far as like a 1 hour session to sit down and really just pour your heart out in terms of what it is that you intend, what is it that you're wanting to build, what kind of client relationships you're looking to create or products you're wanting to sell or whatever it might be, and allow for that lawyer to support you in issue spotting and identifying where you need to be proactive and take action in terms of having legal agreements in place, forming an entity like an LLC or a corporation, and if there are any other legal steps that need to be taken. So if you are in a position to pay for a 1 hour consultation with a lawyer, it will be certainly worth your while. It's usually best to find somebody that's in your state. But sometimes, depending on, you know, your kind of industry, you might need somebody that is more specialized and is familiar with your specific type of services. If you are, you know, in healthcare, in online education, in finance, or whatever it might be, definitely a worthwhile investment just from the jump to give you that clarity so that you're not in there blindfolded, right? Like, okay, well, I'm kind of trying to do what I do, but I don't really know if I'm, you know, about to step on a landmine, for example. So that's my first bit. The other piece is have contracts in place with every single person that you're entering into a business relationship with. So that would include your clients, that would include your team members, that would include anybody that you hire as support staff or a coach or a mentor or whoever it is. If money is changing hands, there needs to be something in writing, right? And ideally, it's something that was created by a professional. What I see a lot of the time floating around is, you know, these quote unquote contract templates that are just like posted in a Facebook group that friends in a circle of friends, they pass it around, or maybe a business coach just shares it with their students. And it's kind of like, okay, where did this come from originally? How many different hands have touched it? You know, how many edits have been made? It's kind of like a game of telephone.
That's
right?
so
like
true.
You don't want to be the last one, and that's the contract that you're using for your business. You know, like that's a nightmare waiting to happen. And, you know, again, it's the consequences of not taking action when it comes to your legal stuff and being proactive. It's not always immediate. I like to say that it takes some time to brew. You know, it requires some time to cook before you actually catch a whiff of what's cooking, right? And you don't want to be catching that whiff. You don't want to be dealing with that. So, you know, just be proactive. That's the overarching theme is be proactive when it comes to the legal stuff, because legal in your business is not just another pillar, you know, so we've got like sales, we've got marketing, we've got customer service, we've got finances, we've got, all of these different pillars. And then some might say that legal is just another, but the way I view it is that legal is the foundation and all of those other pillars stand on top of that.
Ooh, yes.
That's the reality.
That is the reality. It's so the whole idea of like being proactive to me, like I see so many, just connections with how we deal with entrepreneurship and how like entrepreneurship is being proactive, right? It's instead of waiting for a job, it's creating the job you desire, right? So it's like that whole energy. So I always think it's interesting to just look at with everything you need to do inside of your business with sales, delivery, client, all that stuff. Where aren't you being proactive? Where do you sort of have blocks or like you're avoiding something? And is it something that, you know, you can delegate, that you can delete, or that you need to do? And if legal is one of those things that's like, oh, I'm avoiding it, like, what do you need? Really, I think at the essence, to feel safe to be proactive with this, to go have the conversation, to go look at the website, like, where are you? Just kind of notice where you are and then be willing to take that next step.
Yes, absolutely. I think so much of confidence comes from clarity and preparation.
That is so true. For people who are listening and may want to actually like learn more, is there a particular place? I know you have the contract crash course. Would that be a good place to start?
Yeah. So we've got our website, I would like to say, and we've gotten this feedback, is really user-friendly and easy to navigate. And so it's pretty much an e-commerce site. You know, go in there and click on what it is that you need based on the offers that you have, your business model. You'll be able to check out and immediately download those templates. Come with the user guide, the checklist, a video tutorial to help you through the customization process. But if you're like, I don't even know where to begin, our contract crash course, it's for free. You can hop in there and it will just take you 20 minutes or less to go through. It's really short and just condensed, but it's like all the juicy stuff that you really need to know. And my goal in creating that was to empower you to make the decisions that you need in order to really protect yourself legally. So, you know, the crash course is a great place to start. So thank you for mentioning that, Erin. But we've got a ton of content on our Instagram page, on our blog at coachesandcompany.com. And we've got a lot more exciting stuff in the works. So yeah, just, you know, get plugged in. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. It's like too much stuff to spill the beans on right now. But yeah, just get plugged in.
I love it. It's going to be a big year.
Oh yes, it really is. I'm so excited.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of this. I just have one final question for you, which is that if you could kind of like, I don't know, let's say you have a microphone in front of 5,000 business owners, like what do you want them to hear?
Oh, that is a great question. So what I would want for these 5,000 business owners to hear is that you and your business are worthy of protection. What you're building is valuable, and everything that you create and put out into this world is an asset. And that by nature, an asset is in need of some sort of protection. So if you don't have any protections in place right now, just know that you've pretty much built your dream home and didn't put a single lock on any of the external doors. There's no fence, there's no security system. You kind of built it on a cracked foundation and you're just winging it and hoping that everything is okay. But the reality of it is eventually those cracks will begin to show. Eventually somebody unwelcome is going to be knocking on your door, and you don't want to be scrambling when that time comes. You want to be prepared and confident and ready to face that situation head on. And you can do that through taking that proactive action.
Oh, that was beautiful. I love just the concept that like, it is about worthiness at the end of the day. And you said being worthy of protection, and that just like hits because that's deep. And I think I am always just thinking about, I don't know why, this is just how, again, my brain works. But like I think building your business is one of the biggest personal development projects you can ever do. And there's like room for healing through all of this. And so even just hearing that language is like, ooh, just, with money mindset, I'm always talking about like, think back to your childhood and like, what did you learn about money? And I think you just, in that moment, I had that moment of like, oh, think back to your childhood. What did you learn about protection? And like, who is worthy of it? And what does that mean to give it to yourself now? Because there really is like some healing available around this as well, I think.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Absolutely. I think there are so many layers to this also is, we as entrepreneurs, as women, and men too, it's not, I just speak from the perspective of a woman. Right. But, we build these businesses and we are leveraging our skills, our knowledge, our expertise, whatever it might be. And so you might view it to be something that comes quote unquote easily to you, right? And so if it comes easy, then it must not be worth anything, or, maybe I'm not totally convinced of the potential of my business. Like, yeah, I've experienced some success, but it was maybe a fluke, and no, it was not a fluke. It was all intentional. And it was the result of your hard work and your intentionality and your efforts. And you are worthy of protection. And so, I think it's also just a matter of recognizing that and embracing that and, taking action. It all at the end of the day comes down to taking action.
Amazing. Well, Yasmine, thank you so much for this conversation. I feel like I love conversations like this because legal is something like you need a contract. It's very quote unquote, like it's like simple, obvious, it's tangible, right? On the surface. And I love just the fact that there's all of these invisible roots too, that we can like talk about. And like this work is really important. So thank you for, creating this company and for making this accessible. So we really can get what we need to move forward and create the lives and bank accounts and impact that we're looking to make. So genuinely from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you. And like, thank you for you.
Oh, thank you, Erin. I so appreciate you. Thank you for having me here today.
And thank you for you, beautiful listener. Sincerely, thank you so much for tuning in and listening for this episode. I digitally live over at erinlindstrom.com, and I spend a lot of time on Instagram where I am at Erin Lindstrom. So feel free to come on over to my page, send me a DM. I would love to hear what struck you from this conversation. I hope it was helpful. Let me know your takeaways. I always appreciate your shares so we can help get the word out about the show. There is a link in my Instagram bio where there's access to a ton of cool, some of it free stuff, including my sales and money mindset course, which was $497, and I am currently offering for free. So feel free to go get that. We can do some of the inner work together. Hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will talk to you soon.